everybody, and welcome to Paranormal Nation Radio. Not so normal. It's already been not so normal. So, how's Denise and Ron doing?
Well, just going through the changes, rolling with the flow.
Enjoying that nice warm weather down there.
Yes,
yeah, 86, 80s, I don't know, something like that, upper 80s.
It's beautiful.
Well, we hit 72 today.
Bright and sunny. Hey, Nigel.
So,
Thank you, Nigel.
yeah, Nigel's always the first one in and shares it. Thank you, Nigel.
So, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out my new role in life as unemployed. So, I got a couple more days of the job, and then I got plans. Got the wedding in Miramar with our listener Rosalie and her beau.
Right.
And we're already planning to meet Kat for lunch next week.
Good.
So we got stuff to do, and I'm excited to be doing something different.
Yeah. Now,
So mad.
Now maybe you'll sleep in the mornings a little bit, so you know you.
I already do sleep in the morning.
She has been doing that.
See, that's the part people don't understand. I sleep there. I work here, and I still don't want to get up and go to work because I was hating my job. So no matter what, it'll be a good change no matter what. I will be excited again to get up and go to work. So, and I still plan on working from home, so that'll be good.
Good deal.
I needed a change, and as long as we're looking at it as a positive as opposed to a negative, it can't be bad.
No, it won't be. You'll be employed again.
Every time I've been laid off, I've been rehired with a raise into a better job. So again, the positive side, and you know me, I try to look at that positive side more than I look at the negative. But I got us some guests tonight. Rhonda and Dwight Hull, they're coming back for a second visit on this show.
Hey, Gary.
Rhonda and Dwight were guests on the Paranormal Pride 8 years ago. So back when I was first starting out, we were the very first talk show that they were on. And that was back when it wasn't video.
Hello, Bill. Hey, Mom.
It was exciting, but you couldn't see the excitement on their face or the things like that. Now you can see our faces and get to know us a little bit better because you can see our faces and our expressions. And I think that's nice. So we can, Rhonda and Dwight they're both have abilities, but they're going to be talking to us today about something different than they've talked to us about before. They're going to be talking to us today about UFOs and UAPs, experiencing different things as far as that goes. So I want to know more about that since I know their paranormal I know about their paranormal part. Hey, let's find out about this. And I'm really excited to hear about the change in their direction.
Okay, let's bring them up.
Howdy ho, friends.
Hello. So
why the change in direction?
Well, it was something that it was not even on our radar to change direction. We had several little situations come up where, we were like, and we couldn't explain it as being, ghosts or anything like that. And then later we had a really big one that came up, and that incident is what
solidified
it changed everything for us.
Changed our whole
direction.
How long ago was that?
So this was in 2022, from about January through August or September. Things were pretty active, not every day. It was very sporadic, but it was very active. We would have things happen. And it was actually his smartwatch that sort of alerted us that something was going on. Not that smartwatches don't have, can't fault, but it was recording stuff. We couldn't replicate it. We tried to several times. It was logging steps when he was in bed, asleep. And most smartwatches, you have to be moving your arms and your feet in order to log steps. So if you go grocery shopping and your hands are on the cart, you're not going to log as many steps. So it just kind of alerted us that something was going on, and we knew it wasn't spirit activity. And then we saw things. I don't know if you remember me, Denise, posting last year about a 3D. It wasn't a shadow figure, but it was a 3D figure that walked right in front of our bed at night. And I was wide awake. And I thought it was him at first, but he was in the bathroom. So it wasn't. And this happened a couple of times. And then I'm not even sure what the first big thing was. Was it?
Well, the first, excuse me, the first big thing for me
Was it your scratch?
was I woke up in the morning and, we did our normal coffee and computer stuff. And I went in to take a shower. And while I was getting undressed to take a shower, I noticed on my right thigh that I had 3, not really scratch marks, but actual
Punctures.
like punctures and divots, pretty deep.
And they were like this. So
Well,
2 up here and 1 down here.
Yeah. And
Okay.
they were quite a distance apart, each one of them. I mean, all 3 went all the way down from the top of my thigh almost to my knee.
It was a big.
So it was big. And I was like, huh.
And there was dried blood on these punctures.
So it had happened that, obviously at some point during the night. Our cat doesn't sleep with us. And if it did, even if it did, the scratch marks would have been a lot closer together. It wouldn't have been that far apart.
And she doesn't get under the covers with us.
Yeah.
She's a really weird cat.
So, that was kind of a head scratcher for me. And then as I continued to get undressed, the sock that was on my right foot, because I wear kind of tall socks for circulation, those had the identical scratches and holes in them that my leg had, just 3 slices, from the top of the sock, down
2 at the top, 1 at the bottom.
Yeah.
So we bagged and tagged the sock.
So that was one of the things that I was like, okay, it's likely not ghosts, and it sure as heck wasn't our cat. And at this point, I still wasn't ready to say anything. They weren't even on our radar at this point to say anything about, ETs or anything like that.
No, I mean, we're into the paranormal like you are. We have been all life. We're open to all areas of the paranormal, right? Cryptids, UFOs, ETs, but it's not an avenue that we've ever really investigated. We were more on spirits. So this never even crossed our mind, really,
Yeah.
And Bill asks, when you said smartwatch, do you mean the Apple type smartwatch?
Like an
Yeah,
Apple Watch.
there it is, right? Just kind of like an Apple Watch. It logs everything.
Everybody has them, and you can get, fairly inexpensive ones all the way.
Oh, yeah. Walmart.
Oh yeah, the
$39.
ones that check your
Yeah.
heartbeat and your
Right,
blood
everything,
pressure.
all your vitals.
Okay.
Right. And when I was logging steps on it, when I first saw the steps logged in on it, I didn't think anything of it. I thought, okay, I'm moving somehow. And then I started doing a little research on the smartwatches, saying, in order for it to log a step, on the better ones, which is supposedly is, your wrist has to follow the X, Y, and Z axis in order for it to log a step. Well, so I said, okay, well, maybe it's possible that I did that in bed, moving around or whatever. And so I got in bed and I tried I tried turning over and doing this and that and everything else, never logged a step. So it kind of piqued my curiosity. I still wasn't ready to call it anything,
Not that the watch
but it was just weird.
Right. Was,
And just to make a point, it wasn't like I was logging 6 or 8 steps. It was like 60 to 100 steps.
And one time it was like 267. And then I did joke about it. I'm like, well, maybe you're being abducted and they gave you a tour of the mothership.
Making you walk.
You get
Making me walk. That's what ticked me off. They're making me walk.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
Right
they were
outside
chasing
your
you
door.
around to probe you. And you
Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
So,
We're
So
gonna
that-
make you walk from this building to over here.
Yeah, you never know. I still can't explain that. I still don't know. And every once in a while I'll still get, a lot of steps.
I
on my
learned at the start of this, I started keeping a journal. I was logging everything, even if it was redundant and didn't make any sense. I still recorded it so that we could go back later and look at it. But I was having experiences too, not so much like him, but I did sleepwalk once, and I don't sleepwalk. I saw, well, we actually both did in the waking hours. Was that after or before?
That was before.
Was it before your incident? Okay. Everything kind of runs together, but at night, but before bed, I passed our bedroom coming out of his office one night and saw a tall gray in our bedroom, as crazy as this sounds, at the end of the bed, looking towards the head of the bed. And I did what was that? And backstepped because I saw it out of my peripheral, and it was not there anymore. It might have still been there, but it maybe cloaked or so. I don't know. But and then we had visitors coming in through the back door, through our kitchen, again during waking hours. I don't know if they knew that we were there. I don't know if it was some kind of dimensional overlap, but it was strange. We just watched them.
So do you have any theories as to why suddenly, you guys?
Well,
I don't. I have no
Here,
and I'm still trying to process everything that happened, let alone and I don't know. And I've asked her this, and I actually had an opportunity last year, or actually beginning of this year, to talk to Travis Walton one-on-one.
He is so nice. Isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's
He's
good.
great. He is great. And I had like an hour and a half, just him and I. And I told him my whole thing, the story that I haven't yet told
yeah, we
you.
haven't told you yet.
And I asked him the same thing. I said, Travis, why? Do you know? I mean, do you have any theories? He's like, I just throw up my hands. He said, I have no clue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Obviously, right time, right place, right time, wrong place. He said, you never know.
But I was
So-
talking to a friend today who is she is what is
I have no idea.
I can't
what she
remember what her
is.
title is.
It's a big, long title, actually. But
Anyways, and so I was telling her that this property, the original owner had experiences. We found it from one of his daughters, with extraterrestrials, with spirits. He also owned a rock and gravel pit and brought in 7 quartz boulders, and we're talking boulders, big, like huge boulders. 4 of them are compass points on one side of the house, 3 are on the other side of the house. And then, there was a span of probably after he bought the house, 40 years between them and us. Shortly after we bought the house, maybe a year or two after, one of the boulders was out of alignment with the compass points, and probably because the Earth's axis has shifted, and that's a fact. So we had somebody slide it over just slightly. So it was compass points, and it was after that we started having the experiences. Now, I don't know if there's any correlation. My friend thinks these boulders are some kind of harness, maybe for a vortex or a portal or
Maybe it's a signal.
something.
Could be.
So I don't know.
Could
Just
be.
coincidental. But you want to tell them
But is it coincidental?
Well, right. Yeah. Time will tell.
There might
I
be
don't know.
something about the land. Maybe they've
How,
always
how
been
long have you been at this house?
Yeah.
6.
6 years.
I was gonna say it's not been too long.
No,
Okay.
no.
Any other alien activity anybody has reported within, we'll say, a 25-mile range of your house?
All the time. We got Fort Huachuca 8 miles from our house. And, you know, there's, I mean, if you listen to Dr. Stephen Greer, and if you give him any credence, he has said a number of occasions that he has seen documents and he has briefed other people on Fort Huachuca, the underground base that's there, what's on the underground, what's in the underground base, which is a lot of ET tech and possibly even ETs and stuff like that. You know, we're 8-9 miles from the base. We can literally go out our backyard and see the lights of it from our house.
Yeah, a lot of sightings as far as
Okay.
UFOs in this area. So
Yeah.
We found out that there's a bunch here and had no clue.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are
This
always.
town-
Yeah, a lot of military bases around here.
We've
Ah.
got like 9 different airfields
Wow.
all around us. But the Gulf Breeze sighting back in
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got
79,
every branch
every branch.
within
We do. We have every branch of the
25
military here.
miles. Easy.
But I'm trying to find out more about the Gulf Breeze sighting because we didn't know about it. We went to this paranormal conference and this person had a book out about it.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
an interesting case.
And so, and I don't, you know, why would I even think about it? This upper class neighborhood in Pensacola having this, and it's a gated community, so you could go there if you had somebody let you in. But it's like, why would I want to go to a spot where they saw them? Shouldn't you be able to see them outside of the gated community?
Should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's near the ocean, you know. So I want to know more about that, only because I don't know enough to speak intelligently about other intelligent life. So I'm smart enough to know I'm not that smart. Okay. But again, when you mention Travis Walton, you cannot mention experiencers, UAPs, UFOs, aliens without mentioning Travis Walton.
Agreed.
Right.
Yep.
He is a household name. And if you haven't seen Fire in the Sky, people, it's very
You
close
might
to his
want to read
story.
his book.
But read his book first because
Yeah.
Look first.
and
Yeah.
Fire in the Sky is
Because
the
he'll tell
story
you.
that Hollywoodized. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he says, I was not dropped off naked.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was one of the things. I mean, when we were at the event that we went to with him, we had him up on stage for, it was about 2 hours.
As well.
And he answered every question anybody had.
oh yeah.
You can't ask for better than that. And from
No,
what
that's
I
good.
understand, when I've heard him speak, his story has not changed
Oh,
at
no.
all.
No.
The only thing that's changed is the research that he's done.
Yes, and his perspective
Yeah.
of the event. You know, he was a young man when it happened.
Yep.
So different perspective than the man he is now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he
I
told us he goes, I wished it never happened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He
Yeah.
said that to me too.
Yeah.
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 All of the, you know, I mean, I cannot even begin to tell you the hate, the
Yeah.
hate that we
Right.
get when
Yeah.
we post stuff. And you know, we're just Rhonda and Dwight. We're nobody, you know. I can't even imagine what he went through for 48 years. When I post things about our events, about any kind of event, we do, you know, not just the big one once a year, but we do other.
We do sky watches
You know.
now. We do library talks and that kind of
saw
thing.
that.
And you always get, you know, the hate, or you get the intelligence officers from Fort Huachuca
Every
who
time.
want to come and try to disinform anybody else that's, you know, on that group or
Yep.
but they usually get their ass handed to them. So
You know, it doesn't even matter what you're talking about. Again, you got freedom of speech.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Whether they want to believe that what you're talking about is true or not, you have freedom of speech. As long as you're not hurting anybody,
Right.
there's not a problem. It's
No.
not hate
Right.
speech unless you really hate the Greys. I don't know who's gonna
Well,
come after you on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I don't know.
there's a lot of crazy people out there that will just follow you from page to page, to group, to start crap when you're talking about something of this nature.
Yeah,
I mean-
they're always those types.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
always
there
one.
is. It's not the same with if you talk about ghosts. Oh, everybody's up for that. Mostly. Some
But-
people believe it's the devil, but
So how do you feel
Yeah.
about? Okay, you said that you guys are into cryptids as well. Have you had any Bigfoot sightings or anything like that? No.
No,
Okay.
no.
Do
No.
do
Wouldn't
you
even
have
touch
any
you,
theories about Bigfoot maybe being interdimensional or
Yeah.
an alien himself?
Yeah, we've seen that, and we've read about it and stuff like that. And here's the thing: I certainly I can't in any way discount that. It wouldn't surprise me if they were aliens themselves. We think of aliens as little short gray things, but
But let's face it,
could be anything.
alien races. There's many different races. Is the theory,
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, that's what they say.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
160 some I've heard. But why couldn't Bigfoot be one
One of those-
version of an ET, a watcher over the earth? They can disappear and hide and climb and jump and blend in with the environment. Perfect, really. So
Do you feel that there are alien life forms among us that look like us?
definitely, I think there are beings that can shapeshift into, and maybe even humanoid beings. But I think there's also beings that can shapeshift to look like humans.
Yeah, and there's the big rabbit hole you have to be careful not to fall too deep in, because then you're not only talking about the potential of shifting or cloaking themselves or making themselves look like it, and then now you're talking about the same rabbit hole. You're talking about basically the gene splicing and them creating themselves but to look like us. And it's a deep hole that we have gone down and stayed down many times, but I don't discount any of it.
Do you think that
no.
there's hybrids?
Yes,
So kind of like Nephilim, the opposite as far as that goes. I mean, it's basically the same thing. I know there are some people who believe that the spirits that we see are actually aliens. And
Well,
that the aliens are actually demons. It goes all these ways.
oh yeah,
And
Now, I do believe that some people who believe they have a haunting, it could be an interdimensional being who is
that's true.
maybe on the same side as a spirit would be. But we really never used to think that way too much until we had our experiences, which you never even got to your big experience, which totally changed everything.
Let's get to that one in a second.
Get
They
to
had
that.
Susan and Mike out there in Springfield.
Yeah,
So-
before we get to that, you see Gary's post in there?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was woke
Yeah,
up one
he
night.
had a-
Three
we had a
finger-
solid black eye. That he
Oh, you
woke
saw
up
it?
with. And yeah, he came up and we took him out to dinner the night after it happened.
Wow.
And the 3-finger bruises were deep, big bruises.
Like somebody
Just
held
like
him down.
3 fingers had grabbed him.
Damn.
Had that
Wow.
happened before?
This is my co-founder on my paranormal team, Pet, and he's a
Okay.
pastor.
When was this?
Gary Whitmer.
When was this, Carl?
Week and a half ago.
Huh.
Wow.
recent.
So
Gary, it sounds like you fought.
Well, his house is after his wife passed away. His house became very active with a lot of stuff going on in it.
Yeah, but that's not good.
No,
No, it's not. Noises, everything. He woke up the other night and had a camera on by his living room, and you could hear banging in the house and everything. His
Wow.
house has never done that before.
Wow.
Wow.
His wife's pissed that he got rid of all the shit.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Not that mad, I wouldn't think.
Oh, it was a month ago. Okay. It was a month ago.
Yeah, a
Sorry.
month ago. Wow.
Time with me has been going here, there, and yonder working.
Right.
for me.
We probably need to get you in there to do I'm not going to say a clearing, but a cleansing.
Yeah.
Hey there, Howie. Or Ed.
Yeah. Hi, Ed.
Sorry. I'm having a brain fart today. So,
How do you get Howie out of ED?
Anyway, let's get back to the topic here.
no.
What was the big experience that changed you guys?
Now, I want to make it clear that all this stuff that happened before my experience, we still weren't 100% on board with its aliens, or we weren't sure what was going on.
Well, we knew, we saw.
Well, we saw the
beings,
alien,
but-
but we weren't. At least I wasn't. I still wasn't, on board yet. I mean, Denise, you've known us for a while. I'm kind of a, show me before I believe it kind of a person.
Even though he was shown, but he
Well,
still didn't believe.
I still wanted to keep
No,
over
It's
skeptical.
unbelievable. That's
It is.
Yeah.
And how many times have you watched shows about, and people sound crazy, and now I know why.
Yeah, because I'm about to sound crazy here in a second. After all this has happened, last May, no, May before,
No,
No, last
but
May.
not. It wasn't this May. It was in 2022.
right, 2022.
May of 20. Was it May or July?
May. It was
Okay.
May. I was woke up in the middle of the night by being dropped on the bed from about 4 inches up, I figure, because the way I hit and kind of bounced. I did wake up. I was not still sleeping. I definitely did wake up. In fact, I thought I was going to bounce into her. That's how high I bounced off the bed when when I got dropped. And
I
when
was out of it.
she was out.
Of course, as the spouse always is.
And the first thing I did, being a former cop, being former military, first thing I did before anything, I looked right at the alarm clock to see what time it was, get a timestamp. Anytime anything happens, get a timestamp. It's drilled into my head. So I looked at the clock, and then I just looked over a little bit. I'm on my right side facing the window. And when I turned to look up, I saw 3 what you would describe as grays, but they were about,
Where
3
is it?
foot
There
tall.
we go.
Well, they can't see it. It was about 3 foot, 3.5 foot tall. But this is the weird, well, if that's not weird enough, they were actually gold. They were golden. They were actually glowing.
Radiating.
This radiant gold. Behind them was nothing. It was black. Our window was gone. The wall was gone. The fan that we had in the window, I couldn't hear anymore. I saw them for about 3 to 3.5 seconds, which is a long time when
Yeah.
you're in that situation. And as I looked at
I don't
them,
know if you can see that.
no, probably not.
Oh, there we go.
You probably can't even see it. And as I was looking at them, I wasn't scared because it was happening all so fast. They just kind of
Nigel.
went back into the dark, into the black hole circle, and they just kind of, disappeared,
They
so to
faded out.
speak. The circle closed, and as it was closing, I could hear the fan going click, 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 bing, and kicking back on again. Then the wall was there, the window was there, everything was there. And I laid there for quite a while thinking, what in the hell just happened? Did I really just see that? Did that really happen? And, it was mind blowing to me. But for some reason, and even now, I can't even explain why, I was not scared. I didn't have fear about it at all. And I ended up falling back asleep. I don't know how long it took, but I fell back asleep. And when I fell back asleep, I had this, and I'm going to call it a dream because I don't know I can't say anything else for sure. I had a dream.
Could be a memory.
Could be a memory. She says it's a memory, but I say I'm going to stick with it's a dream. I was in the dining room of a farmhouse, like with my back against the dining room table, and I was looking at the one wall, and it had 3 windows. Each window had curtains, closing. And as I looked at them, one of the curtains would open up, and there's one of my gold guys, and then it would close down, and the next one would open, same thing. Third one would open, same thing. And I started backing up, and I felt like I was hitting the table. And then a male voice, I never saw who this was, but a very, very deep male voice came into my right ear, and I'll never forget it, how he said it and the inflection. He just said, "You'll never get rid of him, or you can't get rid of him." And that was it. I woke up. That was it. It was that experience of being dropped on the bed and physically seeing them. And like I said, yes, I know I was awake. No question about it. That kind of
Changed him.
changed me. I said, okay, seeing's believing. And I told her that many times before that. I said, okay, but seeing's believing. That night I saw, and that changed me. And when I told Travis that story, and I told him they were gold, and I told him what had happened, he stopped me, and he looked at me dead in the eyes. He said, "Dwight, this," and by this he meant our events, and talking about it. He said, "This is what you need to be doing, what you should be doing, and what you will be doing." He said, "This is all you need to focus on right now. This was a sign they were trying to tell you something." And he asked me then, he said, if I had gone through any kind of regression, and I haven't yet, and I don't remember anything, other than being dropped on the bed. However, at our next event coming next May, we do have a very well thought of hypnotherapist in the experiencer realm who is going to do regression therapy on me before the event, the day before the event.
And who is that?
Her name is Gwen Farrell.
Gwen Farrell.
She's in Arizona. So
We actually had on some hypnotherapists a few weeks ago. And then I do have access to a quantum healer who talks about past lives.
Yeah, she doesn't talk to you much.
Yeah, she doesn't talk to me. She wants her money. But yeah, they talk about, how your past lives affect all this stuff. I don't know if maybe that is a past life. Maybe maybe you were abducted in a past life and it's just memories coming back.
Oh, no. This was real.
I know. That's what I mean. I'm not saying
but maybe there's a connection to them in a past life. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Is it? Because we know in this case anything's possible because we don't know anything else.
No.
So, do you feel like? Okay, there's a couple ways to ask this question. Do you feel like you were chosen, or abducted?
Here's my theory.
This is what she
thinks. This is my theory, because after this happened to him, my guy was gray. He was a tall gray. He was your typical, what people see. His people were gold. I don't know if it was a suit that covered them all, because different accounts from across the world, you see or you hear about grays wearing different colored suits. So I don't know if it was a suit or if it was their skin. But gold is the color of the gods, okay, from ancient times. So my theory is, because he is an animal communicator and he can speak non-human telepathically, that is why the gold beings chose him. That's my theory. I don't think he was abducted. I think he was taken, but I think he was chosen.
Because, there's different ways you can look at it. Chosen is like, oh, this is really good. I was chosen. or
Right.
oh crap, I was abducted and God that hurt.
Yeah, this is
Right.
this is not a negative for us. It's a very weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like I said, I had no fear at all. Still don't, and I don't know why. Something like that should have at least, made me uneasy. But I mean, I fell asleep that same night. I didn't stay up all night thinking about it. I did for a little bit, but then I fell right back asleep.
But
I don't know.
we're older now
Well,
too. We're
also,
not.
you said in that dream you heard a voice say you'll never get rid of them. Do you think
Right.
that could have been the previous owner of that house that had connections with them?
Well, it could
Hey.
be because the previous owner has passed away. It could be. It was a very deep male
'Cause
voice. I
like
never
said,
saw
he had
face.
all these different meetings with them, and stuff like that. Maybe he
It
was
could have been
warning
Dan.
you and
Could have
telling you
been
in
Dan.
advance. Now that you live here, you can't get
Yeah,
rid of
that's,
Right.
that's possible.
It is.
It is. That's possible. I just remember how strongly it came through in the inflection in the voice and everything. And as soon as he said, "You can't get rid of them, or you'll never get rid of them," and then boom, I was awake again. I mean, wide awake, and sitting there like, okay, that was weird. So,
Right.
One of the things you just said was that you weren't fearful.
Right.
Reminds me of some things that I tell people in the paranormal. They'll say they'll see this or that, and I'll ask them, well, how did you feel? Did you feel afraid? Because that'll tell you whether or not they were good or bad in most cases. Did you feel comforted? It could be that it's somebody that loves you, that they give off this aura. Do you think it's the same way with the alien beings, that the good ones make you feel like you feel good inside, and the ones that you're terrified of make you feel terrified?
No, I think it is where we are in our evolvement as a human being. So, like, take Travis, for instance. When he was 26 or 7 is when his incident happened. He was a young man, a logger. He did, when he woke up on the table, he was aggressively trying to get away from them. His mindset was different. He was in a different place in his life. But over the course of the years, his viewpoint has changed, right? Would you say that?
Oh yeah.
Do you think he wouldn't fight now to get away?
No.
I don't
Why?
think he would.
Why?
I don't
Why
think
do
he
you
will.
think that?
He wants to know.
He wants to know now. He's got more of a. He's just got an invested interest, basically. He was left with so many questions after the
Right.
first one. I think if he were to get abducted again, that I think he would take a different view and try to learn more instead of escape.
Yeah, I mean, that's when these things happen to you, and maybe some of your viewers know, you are on a mission to find answers after you have experiences like this. And we could not find anything on gold beings. I contacted
Never.
several, prominent paranormal or ufologists who had never heard of. They were like, well, they come in almost every other color, so why not? But they had not heard specifically of gold. So
I hadn't heard that one either.
Well, it could be an outfit. It
Well,
could be
it could
spacesuit
be
of some sort.
right.
It could be a level in their existence,
Right.
and
It
a
could
higher
be some
group.
kind of hierarchy. It could be some military, we don't know. But you go on a fact-finding mission after you have experiences with people who are not from Earth. And you try to find out as much as you can. You watch every show you can watch.
Which is sometimes not good, by the way.
You
Right.
look every article you can find, you want to know, like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I can
And-
see that. I mean, we
Travis-
do that with everything. I mean, when we have a health issue, we spend all of our time trying to figure out why.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Travis seems to think, and I agree with him, that these beings were like on a higher tier, and possibly even the scholars or the teachers
Of the grace.
of whatever.
Right.
Because when I told him gold, when I was telling my story, and I said, and they were they were gold. I mean, head to toe, they were gold. I didn't see any suits. I said, but they were actually radiant gold, and his eyes got as big as saucers.
Hmm.
I mean, I never saw him look like that before, and he was like, "Wow!" So that made an impression on me.
Mhm.
So I don't know why I don't know why it was taken. I don't know anything. I really want to know, but I have no memory. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that Gwen Farrell can, put me under regression, and hopefully I'll get some answers.
Yeah.
So if okay, this is going to be a strange question because I like those questions. So if a spaceship pulled up out in front of your house tomorrow and said, "Get in, let's go,"
The
Are you
dust
in
wouldn't
or
even,
out?
the dust wouldn't have settled
Grab
before
the
I was
cat.
through that door.
We're out the door.
I would definitely go.
Would you go if they told you could never come back?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
I absolutely would.
So
I wouldn't even think
No.
about it.
No matter which race they are, or which
Now you gotta. But-
species.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Well, if they approach you and they ask you if you want to go, that sort of implies that they're not going to
Aggressive.
just kidnap you and they're not aggressive, right? If
Then
they're
you
giving
have
you a choice,
mhm.
right?
But again, people who abduct people sometimes give them a choice and then take the
Well-
choice away from them when they get close.
Well, right. Well, that's true.
That
But
is true. But
hopefully, these beings are a lot smarter than we are.
They have
That
to
wouldn't
be.
take much.
No,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They
Yeah.
have to be with all the technology and space saucers and all this and that,
Right.
So that, I don't know if I would go or not. But again, I haven't seen anything.
You haven't been anywhere in a little while. Denise.
We moved this far, 1,100 miles, and I haven't been anywhere since we got here.
Well,
So
that's-
other
that's
than
not
we
a
went
bad
over,
thing.
Oh.
we went over to Mississippi. There's a lot of.
Yeah, we haven't even been to the beach yet.
No, we've been to the beach a lot.
Yeah, well,
But you know what I mean. We haven't gone more than an hour and a half or
Right.
so away from
Right.
home.
You haven't spent a whole day at the beach.
No, I get sunburned too fast. But we have a lot of alien abductions over here in Mississippi and Pascagoula.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Pascagoula. Yeah.
It's got the thing is, I don't know which side, east or west side. I don't know which side it is, but I know that there's a lot there. But why Mississippi?
Maybe there was. So here's the theory of a lot of people that are taken. Maybe there is something about the area or the people in that area. Like there's something about the area, but is there something about the people that are in those areas that are drawn to those areas for whatever reason?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or were there people in that area, like the ancient Indians
Right.
or something like that they visited long ago?
yeah.
So they came back,
Right.
and
That's
of course
possible.
things changed.
I
That's
just wonder
what I think.
Maybe they like alligator bites.
But maybe they
Could
like
be.
alligators. I mean, if you've seen, I think it's Missing 411 about people who are missing, possibly abducted. But in that show, they talk about how elk have come up missing, and so they got to eat too. So what are they? Are they resourcing from Earth to eat?
That
they-
is one of the things that somebody has mentioned that
Right.
there is
Yeah.
some theorize that they want us for food.
Yeah, I don't think they want humans for food. No, it just
No,
might.
we're just too tough.
Right. I think that
And I'm far too bitter, so I'm sure they wouldn't take me.
that might be the
Not like
whole
that.
mutilation of cows could be a source of food.
From two skin and bones, they wouldn't get much meat on.
But there also could be minerals. I know that's one of Travis's theories as well about the sit graves, is that it has more lightning strikes in that forest than anywhere west of the Mississippi.
Yeah, I was
think
gonna say because east of the Mississippi, it's here in Florida.
Yeah. So we brought him actually fossilized lightning when he was at our conference, which is, have you ever seen fossilized lightning?
No.
Fulgurite.
Yeah. So we found some out here in Arizona in one specific spot. So we took him a piece because he's not found, I don't think he's found them up there, but he was looking, he's done research on that theory and minerals in that area. Like, what could they be looking for? And so, anyways, but we have a lot.
That's interesting.
One thing about this property, though, is that the original owner owned a rock and gravel pit, brought in the quartz boulders. The second owners of the house, rock and crystal lovers, had a rock crusher, were doing things like that. And then we come along, rock hounds, we have rocks and crystals all throughout our inside of the house and exterior. I mean, we have over 7,000 sapphirites, which are tektites from a meteorite crash. So is there some connection to the crystals or the rocks? I don't know.
Well,
Maybe.
I mean, if yours is from meteorites, they're space rocks, so
Right.
it could be some kind of GPS.
Right. And
Yeah.
quartz is also a good conductor, so who knows?
And Anthony, we did talk a little bit about mixing of alien DNA with human DNA. We were talking about hybrids earlier, so
Right.
we did cover that. And he also asks, what about the swamp landings of UFOs? Have you heard of any of those?
The only ones that I'm familiar with, and I know there's plenty, in the States, but I've heard of some like over in Australia where they landed in swamplands and such like that.
What is that one?
I don't know.
There's one in the States and I can't remember where it's at, but again, is there some resource in the swamp, that methane gas or something? Not that they would use that as a propulsion, but is there some other use for it that we don't have? I mean, you got to try
there could
outside
be.
the box, huh?
Yeah.
There could be. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much in a swamp that it'd be hard to detect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found aliens are swamp gas, the mystery of Michigan's most famous UFO.
Michigan?
Oh yeah. That's
There's a lot of swamps up there.
Those are
Not today. Today it's
Not
probably
today,
frozen. No, today it's probably frozen. But Dexter, Michigan, apparently 1966.
Ah, okay.
So-
I'm not familiar with that.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I've never
haven't
seen that on TV.
I haven't really done, like I said, much. Let's go with, I've been working for 25 years. I don't have time to investigate UFOs too. So how to start investigating them or researching them? Where should I start? I have Travis Walton's book. Is that
That's
a good
a really
place
good
to start, or should I start somewhere else?
I'd say that's a really good place to start. And then from there, kind of like what we did is you pick a
few cases.
a few cases like the aerial school in Zimbabwe, where the UFOs came down, got out of the ship, and actually communicated with 75 school kids.
The ETs.
The ETs did.
Yeah. There was 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, then took back off and
telepathically communicated with many of these children who are still affected today.
Can that be proven in any way? Can it be proven, or is it just this what these people said happened?
Oh no, there was like 100 and some witnesses, including school teachers.
Yeah,
and
I
other
saw
people.
that.
Yeah, I know. I saw
that.
it too.
Bunch.
But again, I can't just take this hook, line, and sinker. I need to know, what kind of facts do we have to lead us down that path? I mean, I don't question too many people's paranormal stories because that's what they experienced. I can't take that away from them.
right.
They had the experience. Is it repeatable? Can I find more information that links the Zimbabwe case to another case.
So I would suggest you.
Linking them, I don't think so.
I would suggest you watch James Fox's Phenomenon.
And he deals with that. Now, I will tell you this: there were deep pad impressions where the kids said the ship was. They actually went out there. They actually saw them, photographed them, everything else. Now, what really got me about that particular case, and again, having been a cop for many years, generally you can't get 3 people who saw an event to come up with the same story.
Right.
It's almost impossible.
Mm-hmm.
When you get 75 kids of different ages, all separately telling everybody the exact same story,
very
exactly
similar,
what they were wearing,
but
exactly what they did. They drew pictures. These kids were scared.
They talked
you could
to
see it.
a psychiatrist, a couple of different psychiatrists, interviewed them, and they all told this very similar, not exactly,
How
but
long
very,
ago
very
did this happen?
1994.
Yeah, let's say not too long ago.
One of the things
Most of them are still alive.
Oh yeah, they're all alive.
Yeah.
One of the things that I would tell people is, like we had something happen at a Girl Scout camp. All the kids had different stories up until this point when this one thing happened. And that's when all the stories became the same, was when this one thing happened. So you would expect different stories before, different stories after, but during this one part, the stories are all going to be right around the same. And that's where you find that this is where the truth comes in, because everybody's focused on all these other things until a catalyst.
Right.
The catalyst happened and they all stopped and they all looked. It's like a train wreck.
Right.
Everybody knows what they were doing, but they don't know how the train wreck happened. So
same thing. And like I say, when you multiply that by 75 kids, that's impressive to me as an investigator. That's impressive. That's the one story that I really took a lot of, credence to.
Yeah. And there's another story in Brazil, Varginha, Brazil, about, you want to tell the story?
It's a long story, but basically in Varginha, it's a small town in Brazil. A UFO crashed, and I'm cliff noting this whole story because it would take forever to tell it all. Basically, the 2 occupants of the UFO, and the UFO was recovered by the Brazilian government, military. 2 of the occupants actually made it into town and were actually seen by several people, witnessed it, including policemen, firemen, everything else.
Officials.
They actually did capture them. And the one person who was a police officer who grabbed onto this alien, he said it was covered in like a greasy substance, and it really smelled, and he never could get that smell off him.
Ammonia type or something.
But then not long after that, he got some very mysterious disease and died in the hospital like 3 weeks later.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
His partner, who was in the car and helped transport this alien to the hospital, still will not talk about it. He will threaten to shoot you if you go up to his house.
Oh yeah.
He is very serious about not saying
several people
anything.
that were a part of the operation, but low-level military, were transferred out. I never heard from again.
Never heard from again.
It's very mysterious, but a lot of different witnesses, all levels, government, military, and citizens. But very, very interesting story about these beings, pilots, or
So, to go back and answer your question, I would pick cases similar to that interest you, that have multiple witnesses, multiple documentation, stuff that you can actually research and find out. And then you're going to end up, like I said, down the rabbit hole. Those documents are going to lead to other documents and other cases. and then you can just kind of start snowballing. And the more you learn from one case, then you can kind of learn from the next case you go to, and keep building on it.
But interesting note, the American military came in and got all of this stuff from the Virginia Brazil case. Called up Brazil, said we're coming to get it. Bam.
Could it possibly be American made technology?
Well, I don't know about the technology, but the alien bodies they had sure weren't.
So did you guys listen to all the stuff or read all the stuff based on disclosure?
Oh, no.
Not all of it. Not all of it. Some of it. It was quite long to read,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. I friend Kat, she did a talk on that at the Paranormal Conference here. And I found it quite interesting, the stuff that she had to say and how she interpreted it. And I don't think that there was much interpretation. I think it just basically said what it meant to say. Do you believe that the other thing they're saying is that all the triangular shaped ships out there are ours? They're distraction.
Right. I'll give you my take on all this, and it kind of simplifies things for me. I don't know if I'm right, but this is my theory. Okay. If you hear them say UAP, that's ours. That's government. If you hear them say UFO, they don't know what the hell it is. It's something else.
And we're not the only ones with that theory.
Yeah, a lot of other people have.
Well, actually, I think that they're trying to wipe out the term UFO altogether.
Right.
To where
if they are,
in
they're
20
trying
years,
to confuse people.
Yeah. That way, in 20
thing.
years, when our kids decide that they want to research UFOs, there's not going to be anything to be found because it's all going to just fall off and everything's starting to be called UAPs.
Yeah, but with typical government, how they like to take something simple and complicate it. This is a perfect example, and it's kind of a code thing because, like I say, if government officials are talking and they say, even on the disclosure tapes in Congress, they use both terms,
Right.
both UAP and UFO.
Mm-hmm.
So people
And
should
that was
wake
kind of a
up.
wake up thing for me. It's like, okay,
If they've changed the term to UAP, that's what they should be calling all of them. If that is the new term, they should not be even using UFO, but they're still using both. So that should be a big question mark for people.
So that would be the question that I asked my cousin, the astronaut.
Right.
There you go.
So
He works at Johnson Space Center.
there are blueprints or copyrights, trademarks for the triangular UFOs, but patents. There we go. But that technology had to come from somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't just pull it out of thin air. Okay.
Yeah.
So they probably have some other technology similar to that from
you look look at the pyramids and everything where the drawings are, and you can tell by reading the pictures of the drawings, they're not from this earth.
Oh, yeah, no.
And stuff. So
They were here long before people were here.
Yeah, you can go out and look at the petroglyphs there in Arizona, and you can see that there is all kinds of stuff that refers to
Sky people.
Star being, especially.
the sky gods or star people. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing seeing some of that stuff in the Painted Desert and the Petrified Forest. You've got all the Pueblos had their little buildings out there, and there were some drawings down on the rocks. I mean, you had to look at it through, you couldn't get to it very closely because it was up on a hill. But I mean, it was amazing to see. These are stories that are thousands of years old that are still there in the rock.
There are pictographs in Australia from the Aboriginal tribes that show gray alien drawings from 11,000 years ago on the walls in Australia.
Wentzville, Missouri, right there off of Interstate 70. There's some caves and there's some stuff drawn down in there that are very similar as well. Yeah. So you can probably go all the way across the country and find something that wasn't drawn by a kid
Oh yeah.
in the last 20 years, you can probably find something, a couple thousand years old that you can't explain. Why does it look like a spaceman? Is it time travel or is it space travel?
Or is it both?
Or is it both? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm so excited about our next event coming next May, because we've got 2 of the Navajo Rangers who worked on the reservations up there, and they have studied and learned all those, the petroglyphs and stuff up there with all their old, the stories of their ancestors and everything else. I am just beyond excited to sit down and talk with them.
Yeah, they have. They investigated the cases that were paranormal, if you will. Other real normal cases too, but they were assigned to the paranormal side as well. So shapeshifters, Bigfoot, UFOs, whatnot. But it'll be very cool to have to hear their stories from a police aspect too, right? So, yeah.
What do you guys think of Skinwalker Ranch? The series going on.
It's a right asset.
Oh boy, oh boy. This is where I'm going to get people hating me more.
You don't like Travis?
What's that?
Oh, we
like Travis Turner.
Yeah, and he's on Ancient Aliens too.
Travis.
Yeah. Well, you always have to have a government guy there to oversee what's going on.
Yep.
I do not doubt that there are things happening on Skinwalker Ranch. I do not doubt that they have
kinds of
some kind of maybe a portal and energy, something. I don't doubt that they've had UFOs go over, and I'm not sure about the whole shapeshifter Skinwalker thing because I'm not that familiar with that legend, but I really have a problem with the show. Some of the things they do, it's TV show for entertainment. It's not a documentary. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people watch it as if it's a documentary and a science experiment because they have Travis there, who is,
he's a
physicist, but he is also employed still by the government. So there is only so much that he's either going to say or is allowed to say or allowed to let happen. So,
he's the control. He is the control on the show.
Right. Exactly.
Why do you think that is?
That's why he's there.
Oh, I know why that is.
Right.
Yeah. That's exactly. Oh, yeah. Well, that too.
Well, money and
that too.
And, there's a level of control from the overseers. So.
Yeah. You got to keep secrets from us dumb humans.
Yep. Right. We're not.
We can't accept the facts.
I don't think it's a matter, I don't think it's a matter of, there's a lot of people that want to know the truth, right? They want ETs to just land and show themselves. But there would be chaos if that happened. I firmly believe after delving into this area, doing conferences, doing speaking engagements, there is a lot of people that would lose their freaking mind.
Do you think it would be more like War of the Worlds or Independence Day or Mars Attacks?
Wow, that's a lot of speculation. I don't even know how to speculate. If it was going to happen, I would guess. Here's the thing: if the aliens wanted to kill us,
that would have been done.
They'd have done it a long time ago.
That'd been too easy.
We don't have anything that we can stop them with.
They're not going. I don't think they're going to show themselves because man is aggressive, especially the military. If
they show that,
they shoot them down. They take them prisoners. So that's not going to happen. But the average person, there might be riotings. Like crazy stuff. People think people are ready to know, but I really don't think I don't think it's the majority.
To be honest with you, the last few years, and I'm not going to give an exact number, but the last few years has proven to me that how badly America has been dumbed down and basically kept stupid.
Yeah.
Purposely. So if something like this did happen, it would just be mass hysteria.
Yeah.
And it would be out of ignorance, not out of, anything else, because
they would
don't
make
know
it into a gigantic scary.
Absolutely. As far as the aliens themselves, like I said, if they were going to do some kind of an attack like that, they'd have done it a long time ago, and there's not a thing we can do about it.
Right.
I think I think at best we're a science experiment or a colonization that they come back and check on the progress every once in a while. That's my view.
Alien ant farm.
Yeah, basically a human ant farm. Yeah,
Shake us every now and then.
Yeah.
Take individuals and study us and see what we're doing, who's capable of what. Take him. He can.
Well, what's the evolution?
Right. Are certain people more advanced spiritually than other people?
Is it? There is a religion. I'm not going to give it any voice, but that people believe that they are born of the star people.
Right.
And do you think that there may be some validity to the fact of they're saying that we were created somewhere else, like Superman dropped here?
Absolutely.
Do you think all of us, or just those with the rare blood types?
Well, and the Rh negative, blood type, or Rh positive.
Rh
negative.
Rh negative, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I was that smart to answer the question, to be honest with you.
Basically, it's just making people think. That's all.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to do is make people think, make them out of their shell a little and go.
Right. I think the Rh negative blood types, I think that was one part of a experiment. I think there's probably several going on that they come back and they check the evolution or the progress of whatever's happening. That's why, there's some people who are abducted and never seen again. There's some people who are abducted and drop back off. I'll let you know when I have my regression to see what they're doing.
The question would be, so you're just bringing up all these questions that I would have, so with this, is every alien species out there making us their petri dish, or is it just one or two and everybody else is just observing like a football game
or a zoo?
Yeah.
I think it's the smart ones, or smarter, or the scientist or whatever. Maybe my gold guys, maybe they're in charge of this whole human experiment thing, and maybe some of the other ones are coming in because there is life on another planet than theirs, so they come down naturally and check it out. Basically like a zoo or whatever. Right, to see what they're going to do. I don't know. Like I said, I wish I had the brains of Stanton Friedman to be able to come up with better answers to some of the questions. But
too bad he passed away.
Yes, he was a brilliant guy.
In fact, Kat had interviewed him just before he passed.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
I like him.
Lots of questions there. Still, another question would be, if this is the case, that there's multiples out there that are watching us, should you guys don't feel like you're afraid of them? Right. A friend of ours had been abducted since she was 9 years old.
Yeah.
She's gone up
9 times.
9 times.
Oh.
She sees something in the sky. She's out there heading towards it. Every time she wants to be abducted again. She said the last time she was abducted, she was injected with something and she's not been sick since.
That was 15 years ago.
Wow.
So what are your thoughts on
Well, she said every time that she was abducted 9 times, but she said every time she was given more information.
Right.
She wrote a book.
It was all a positive experience.
Do you believe that everybody could have a positive experience, or it's based on?
Yes, you learn more and more every time.
Right.
And it's based on where you're at in life. What your psyche is, if you're open to it, if you're not open to it. But like your friend, I always think back to, I can't remember the name of the movie, but there's astronomers that want to watch things go on. And there's astronauts who want to be in it, we are astronauts. We want to go. We would welcome it again, just like your friend. There's people who are more reserved, who don't want to have anything to do with it, who just want to watch it from a distance.
I just don't believe that everyone is out for good. Period.
Well,
it doesn't matter. I mean, me, you, we might be, sure, but the whole world is not out for good. There is going to be, there's good people and bad people. So there's got to be good aliens and bad aliens.
Right, of course.
Absolutely. And that may be the ones that they abduct people and you never see them again.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Again, wish I was.
Or they don't have a story to tell if they're gone. I mean, if they're gone,
right.
Well, right.
Story. So we wouldn't know if it was horrible or not. I mean, we hear stories all the time. You know, back in the 70s is when we started hearing about crop circles. We started hearing about mutilations, and they were happening before. It just wasn't national news. We didn't really have a good national news back then.
Right.
Right.
When it started getting on national news, that's, I think, when people started going, oh my God, there might be something to this.
Right.
What? I mean, I still don't know why they would mutilate cattle. I mean, Rhonda had a good point. Maybe it's for food. Maybe they were hungry, and
maybe they don't. Maybe whatever type does the cattle mutilations, maybe their system can't eat like we do. So maybe they can only do liquids. Okay.
That's why they drain the blood.
Right.
Or certain areas of the body have different chemicals.
Species that don't know what certain animals are, so they collect different material off of them.
Absolutely.
You know, some of them had the hide ripped off, some of them had hearts taken, livers taken. You know, they could be examining it going, oh, is this a product that could be used on our planet?
Right. Look what we do. Look what we do to animals and different things. And we started them, so some higher intelligence might be doing the same thing with us.
That doesn't have anything like what we have on this planet.
Yeah, maybe they don't know that the animals are animals. They're not. I mean, they are inhabitants of this planet, but not necessarily. Maybe they are the intelligent species, the animals.
Well,
It could be.
It could be, but you know, as a investigator and through a scientific view, if you're going to learn anything about a culture, you can't just look at the people. You have to look at the fauna, the flora, the weeds, the grass, the water, the animals. That's how you get a full picture, because we eat the animals.
Right.
So why do we eat the animals? Well, let's get an animal and find out. So they get that and they do tests. I don't, as my scientist brain, you know,
that makes
thinks about that. You can't get a clear picture or a whole picture on a society unless you examine everything.
Everything that deals with their existence.
Right.
So the 3 marks that you got, do you still have them? Did they scar up, or did you have them looked at?
They did heal up very quickly. But thankfully I was smart enough to take a series of pictures before, you know, that same day where I discovered them. So I still do have the photo evidence, but they did heal up fairly quickly. And they were pretty deep gouges too. It was concerning for me to see that kind of, because you would think that I would have, if it would have happened, you know, normal everyday life, or even you'd.
Did you ever have an X-ray? Did you have an X-ray?
You know, I have not had an X-ray, and then oddly enough, very soon after that, or actually the day after that, my right knee on the outside started hurting extremely badly for about 4 days.
And my friend today, she said, you need to have some kind of an X-ray or some kind of a scan of their whole leg.
Now I've not had an X-ray, but we have taken Mel meters and EMF meters to see if there was anything, you know, something we could do here at home.
Right.
And of course, that didn't detect anything.
No.
Yeah.
Magnetically, I've got a rare earth magnet I put over there, and I didn't feel anything. So.
Yeah, I have a device that could actually have EMF. I've got titanium and magnets. So if you spin me around really fast, I probably have EMF.
Wow, you can generate a field.
Yeah, and puke. But
And puke.
so
yeah, there's a lot to that I have no answers to. Hopefully I get them. I don't know.
So you want to give me my little friend from up there? I'm going to ask a question about her.
Oh,
I'm going to ask you that question now about my.
Okay.
Kitty cat question.
crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
if you got that, we'll put this up there too from way back when Anthony asked it, because I know what you're going to ask. They say that when speaking to animals, they use pictures to speak to humans. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. It's like it's kind of like playing a game of Pictionary. They give you either a picture or a series of pictures to try to explain what they're, and I try to tell people when I do readings that animals are incapable of lying. They cannot lie. So if I read an animal and they're giving me the pictures and I say something and it's just way off base or not right, it's not because the animal told me wrong. It's because I interpreted those pictures wrong. And that's the whole thing. And yes, he is exactly right. They do mostly pictures or a series of pictures, or for me, also, sounds or little mini movies.
Okay.
Oh,
This
look
cat, her name is Keela.
Yeah.
Look at her.
She
looks mad.
She is not happy.
she is
She was
a
getting
rescue.
ready to go to sleep.
She's
on
a
her
rescue
tree.
cat,
Okay.
and she seems to be getting younger as she gets older.
She's about 15.
Okay.
You gonna say hi? No. She is my cat.
What's the question?
Does she really like me?
Does she really like you?
She wants to go to sleep.
Well, right now,
Yeah,
she's just really pissed that she's right there.
She's not purring. That's a
No.
Right. Yes, she does. She does really like you. She likes your husband more. She sees your husband.
Why she bites him?
Well, she sees your husband as a protector, more of a protector. You are the caregiver, the food person.
I never feed her. Maybe she just feels that way. So, but she is a funny cat.
She's a wonderful cat. She's actually, it's really hard to read over a video like this, but she's actually, not too bad. She's pretty open. Yeah, she's pretty open.
Oh my goodness.
Why does she attack the other cat? We have a cat that's dying, and she keeps attacking her.
Yeah,
what can we do to
leave her alone?
Maybe get her to stop? I don't think she's going to stop doing it, but at least alleviate some of that.
It's kind of bullies.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and unfortunately, that is a common trait in cats. Cats are predators.
Right.
They prey on the weak. And even our domesticated cats they still have that internal thing. So, they're kind of like kids. I can tell her not to do it, but it's up to her whether she does it or not, or, stops. But I can tell you that it's more instinctual that she does that than it is out of any kind of meanness. That's just what cats do.
Well, she's my... like I said, she seems to be getting younger as she gets older. She seems like she's in better health now than she was when I got her
5-6 years ago.
And and we've had her since she was 1.5 years. So we've had her 13 years.
Wow.
And she acts like she's in better health now than she's ever been. She's now eating. She wasn't. Maybe she likes Florida.
I was just going to ask.
It could be that.
Maybe it's
the area,
the change.
The house, the energy.
Yeah.
You never know. Did she have teeth problems at one time?
Not that I know of. She did
the other one.
She might have.
The one that
she told me she had sore mouth for a while.
Oh, well, that would explain why she wasn't eating very well for
She throws
Wow.
up.
Okay.
She throws up a lot.
Okay, that's because she can't chew her food. When it comes
She
up, does
doesn't
it come
eat
up
canned
like,
food
Yeah, she won't eat canned food.
Wow,
And
that's
she won't eat treats
and no
either.
treats.
really? She likes the dry food. But when she throws up, is the dry food whole?
Sometimes.
That's because she has a hard time chewing it. You may want to try to soak it with like what I tell people, and it works generally, whatever kind of dry food you have, if you put just a little bit of like chicken broth on it to soften it a little bit,
Yeah, the low
It'll
sodium kind.
yeah,
Yeah.
it'll digest better and she'll probably end up eating more.
Yeah, she's
Yeah, she also licks plastic.
Well,
Yeah.
That probably doesn't help.
Why
that
do-
doesn't probably help, no.
I don't
No.
know why cats lick plastic.
They
She's real
have a
bad.
weird smell, you know.
It's
Yeah,
a smell, I think.
I
yeah.
looked it up to
The
find
oil
out
in it,
if,
I don't know.
if it was, it's petroleum based product. What is she lacking on for me to give her to get her to stop that? Because I'm sick and damn tired of cleaning up puke every day.
Yeah.
Brand new carpet and I got puke. So
Yeah.
Then we got one that
That's exactly it. They found the soft spot. That's what our
That's
cat
me.
does to us. She's the soft spot.
she won't bother her for it because she's not going to give her any.
Yeah,
You can carry
that's
her.
the same thing.
That's
they
funny
don't
'cause
bother me for food at
Uh-uh.
all. I mean, I
really,
can
because
eat
she
dinner.
looks at you as the caregiver and you as the protector, which is interesting.
It could be because of the fact that I'm the one bringing the groceries in,
Well, that
cat
could
food
be,
and stuff.
but-
Maybe that's it. I don't know. For years,
be.
it was me going to the grocery store. Maybe she saw the cat food bag and said, "Hey, that's her."
Well, yeah. Well, you go out and you kill the cat food and bring it home, I guess. So
Well, she is the only cat we have that ever caught a mouse.
Hey,
Hi.
There's a little one.
Oh,
There's
There's
a
she
little
is. Oh, there's my girl.
that smile.
Say hi. Look at that dirty face.
oh my goodness.
This is
What a
Clover.
big smile.
Yeah.
This is Grandma's
Oh
girl.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Say
Hi.
hi. No.
No.
She's not sure about
That's
that.
okay.
I said smile, and there it went.
Yeah, she's a big smiler.
You got any questions?
I think my mom's in there. I think my mom's in this one.
I'm blue.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, Grandma, I'm Sissy.
Yo.
You want to say hi to Miss Rhonda and Mr. Dwight? You say hi? Oh, she goes, hi.
Hi. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm Sissy.
You're sissy.
This is the best part of my day.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, she calls us.
Oh, got Margaret?
She calls me purple. She calls him blue. She calls me number 4. He's number
Really?
5.
Wow.
She's got all kinds of names for us, and hardly any of them are grandma or grandpa.
Yeah, they're all terms of endearment, though.
Yeah,
Hey,
She's your feet.
yeah. She's
enjoy them
now.
while they're little. They grow up and
Oh
Yes.
boy. Yeah.
then they become something else.
Mhm.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, I know.
Can't wait for my little pain in the rear end here to become a little witch.
Yeah. And that
So-
will happen sooner than you think, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
So yeah, now it's drawing time. So, have you guys gotten grandchildren yet?
Oh yeah.
How
Yeah.
many do you guys have between the two of you?
Well,
I have 3 step grandchildren in Oregon.
yeah, and I have one 3-year-old grandchild boy that lives just down the road.
It's great, isn't it?
It could be if I saw him enough.
You never. It doesn't matter. Even if they live with you, you still don't see them enough.
Well, that's probably
So,
true.
what do your kids think about you guys doing the paranormal and UFOs? And
Oh, that's a good question. Interestingly, I've got a daughter. That's who I got the grandson through. She used to be very very in tune with the paranormal and ghosts and all that stuff. But as she got older, she started kind of pushing that aside. Now we're kind of like, you know, the weird ones. You know, she doesn't even like to acknowledge that we're, you know, we've got books out there. We do TV, we do, you know, library talks, but she doesn't want to, you know, deal with that.
Right.
So
I know how that is.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
kids and
We're the
everything,
weird
but-
ones, and that's fine.
Yeah, I don't mind being the weird
I
one.
embrace that. So we're keeping it real. You like it, great. You don't, that's fine too.
Yeah, I've got a granddaughter that she's into the paranormal. She can see spirits and everything too. And even now at 18 years of age, she did a lot of it when she was little, but she still goes to paracons with us
Oh,
and
good.
everything.
That's
And
excellent.
does different things, been on investigations with us and all through her life. So
Well, that's great. That's
yeah,
great.
it is. It's a real good time, especially
Yeah.
when your grandchild, she's in college now and stuff. And in the summertime, we go to Scared City Paracon down in Paragould, Arkansas. She went with us last year down there, where she met a lot of the paranormal people and people who make horror movies.
Ah,
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah, it's a real good deal.
One of the
Found my
nice things.
paintbrush.
Oh, she's ready to paint.
Yep.
But
Yeah, one of the nice things about kids being involved with the paranormal is it keeps their minds opened up to possibilities. They don't get that tunnel vision as they grow up, which is good. No matter what field they decide to go into, they've got a broader range of thinking because they like the paranormal, and it's you know, not a bad thing.
especially if they see the real paranormal,
Right.
Not just the TV
they
stuff.
show on television.
Right,
The
exactly.
stuff on television is for entertainment and this.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Only.
And
Yeah.
like I told her, I said, if we go to a place and we don't find any evidence of anything, I tell everybody we didn't find that.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's
And-
just as important as evidence.
It is. But
Yeah.
she's been on investigations with us since she was 4 and stuff, doing a lot of it.
She was doing the Sally House tours when she was what,
Yeah,
9 or 10?
Okay.
Wow.
wow.
Ron
That's
Denise
good.
used to
Well, she
be
heard
the tour
Denise
guide at Sally
say it
House.
so much that she said, I can do this. And
Yeah.
started doing everything.
And I helped her for a year up there, and we took Cassidy, my granddaughter,
Yeah.
up there. Right, first time she'd ever been up there. Matter of fact, and I think it was the first time she'd ever met Denise and Ron.
Yeah, I think it was.
Remember, right? And
think so,
stuff. And she stayed down there with Denise and listened to Denise tell the people coming in
Mhm.
about the place. Right.
Wow, that's great.
Well, it just so
Great.
happened a lady came in with a baby and was going to use it as a trigger object, and Denise got the baby down there.
Okay.
So Cassidy, and she was what, 10 years old, I think, 9 or 10,
Yeah, about 9 or 10.
when we did that. She started taking the groups through the house, telling
Yeah.
them the exact
Oh, we had-
story Denise did.
Yeah, there were so many people that we needed the help.
We did,
Wow.
because we had,
Wow.
I was in
But
the
they all
basement.
followed her. They
Ron
followed
and
her like
Gary were upstairs.
And that's
we
great.
took
And
over.
she would take groups everywhere around there, and
Yep.
when they got done with that, she would lead them somewhere else. It
That's
was really
fantastic.
neat
Wow.
to see a
It was
2-year-old
hilarious.
girl doing
I'm a
that
great trainer.
in the Sally House.
That's great. That's wonderful. Really
So,
good.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it
bet.
was. It was a blast that day. So, but so the UFO. Okay, another question I was going to ask you. I know it's a weird question, but you see this gray walking in your bedroom all the time. Have you ever thought about putting a camera up above your bed, shining down to the foot of your bed to see if you catch it?
We have cameras in every room of the house. We have cameras on the exterior of the house on every angle. We've got about 15 cameras that run.
Oh, at least 15 to 20.
That run all the time at night. And
Have
we
you
have
ever
yet
caught anything?
nothing.
The only
Nothing.
thing we have caught, well, and here's the other theory is that these guys are far advanced and maybe they don't want to be recorded.
Right.
Right.
So they can
have the
disrupt your
ability to
signal.
blank it out.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He did catch the 6 guys on the roof.
Yeah.
So one of our cameras, well, actually, there's several that do a series of clips over the course of a day, like every other day or so. And one of them did a series of clips, and the clips just happened to be the shadows outside our bedroom. So it would be a shadow of our roof, like the different shadows of the day.
Right.
And one of the clips caught like 6 humanoid figures above our bedroom, basically on the roof. So you can see the dish satellite. You can see trees clear at the other end of the house, pine trees. But then there's these 6, look like 6 humanoids, anomalies above us that there's nothing up there to be making that shadow.
Yeah, it's like they were standing on the roof, and all of course, all we see is shadows. But it's interesting as the time lapse went through, only one picture had those, and then the next picture didn't, and that was only taken a few minutes or whatever after. So it was interesting. I kept that picture.
Yeah.
And was it during the day?
Real interesting.
Yeah, it was during the day.
Yeah.
So
very interesting picture. So yeah, we've got cameras all over.
They don't want to be filmed. The same way with certain spirits that don't want to be caught. You can see it with your human eye, but the camera didn't pick it up.
Right. So either with the aliens, it either could be we're just caveman technology, and they can just block it whatever so quickly and easily, or they just don't want to be. Or they can't be.
Or
maybe they're made of something, energy or whatever, where they cannot be filmed.
Or as they're going through at what we view as our house, they are distorting the energy around them. Okay, kind of like they do in their ships. So that may be why you're not catching anything.
Another way to look at it, we may not have the technology in cameras yet,
right,
to catch that type. That dimension, or we see it with our eyes going across, but it could be something else that our technology and a camera cannot pick up yet.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It could also be possible that it can see the infrared.
Oh yeah.
As they say Bigfoot does, and can see it from a distance and know to avoid it.
Absolutely. They can see it.
Or other words, cloak themselves to the camera.
Yep, they could see in a completely different spectrum of light than we do, or they see more of the spectrum than we do.
Right.
Well, if they're real, they've got to be more advanced than we are to fly a spaceship out of the universe.
Absolutely.
The way to here, walk around, get on it, and take it back off.
Absolutely. The question is, are they, 10,000 years ahead of us? Are they a million years ahead of us? That's the question.
And they're probably not going from point A to point B in distance. They are bending space and time and creating a wormhole. So,
do you believe that we are seeing many different aliens, or the same ones over and over again?
I think we're seeing kind of combination of both.
Yeah.
I think there's some that probably repeat. I think there's some that are basically first time visitors, long time listeners,
right.
kind of a thing.
The Greys are sort of the doctor scientists of the ET race.
We assume
they're the most commonly cited, I guess, is what you could say, by abductees or whatever you want to call it. Then there's the reptiles, which I don't know if there's ever been reptilian abduction. I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Well, maybe that's the ones we're not hearing from.
Right, could be. Well, and
Yeah.
the Pascaluska case,
Oh yeah,
they were actually, I mean, they weren't reptilian, but they were robotic with,
yeah, they were very.
they had scaly looking skin, but they had the claws that they picked
Yeah.
up you guys
Yeah.
and took them into the ship. So yeah,
Is it
gosh.
possible they were hybrids between people and crayfish? Crawdads?
Well, it's possible that they were robots because that's how they, Charlie described them. He said they look like big old robots.
Yeah, it's possible that their creator, made that they're like the go-getters, and
they could have just been like the cyborgs or whatever. And,
yeah.
I don't know.
And then, there's also incidents of the oh my God, the insect people.
Insectoids, the mantis.
The mantis people. Boy, I tell you what, I don't ever want to be abducted by a mantis because no.
So how many? I've heard numbers before, but how many species is recorded in the UFO field?
Wow.
I
I think in that one book there's like 164 or something like
164, 167 in the, is it the blue book or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only 30 something.
That was the number I heard.
Yeah.
Was
Wow.
up in the mid 160s.
That's a lot more than I thought. I thought it was in the 30s. But
Yeah, I believe it's 164 or something like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty high number.
Of
And these are, of
different
course, taken
species.
from different reports and
Right.
such.
Right,
So,
different species.
Yeah.
Right.
so what have you
But-
seen in the skies that looked very different,
recently, or
or just anytime?
well,
Recently or anything.
I lived up in Chandler during the Phoenix Lights, and I actually watched the whole thing from my backyard.
Okay.
I can describe the ship almost identically. We have seen several things down here. We've seen cigar-shaped objects that go for a little bit. They hover and then they just take off. We've seen a big red orb, I guess you would, up in Phoenix.
That was changing kind of
Changing color. It was morphing from like yellow to red to orange, and it came right over us, stopped, and then the person we were with clicked a flashlight a few times, some kind of a mathematical code, he said, and that thing took off. I mean, in the blink of an eye, it
went
was
backwards.
gone.
It went from stationary to gone.
Yeah, to gone.
I don't know what he said to it, but
he doesn't know what he said to it, but yeah. And we've seen a lot of stuff down here as far as different, I'll call them light anomalies.
Yeah.
Or ships. I've seen,
Well, I would tell you too, we had a sighting at our old house. Now, we did not call it a UFO. We went out one night to have a cigarette, and across the street, I think I've told you this before, Denise, maybe not. There was a house in a completely fenced lot across the street, but it was an empty lot. And there was now a mobile home. It looked like a single wide mobile home in this lot with lights on. Nothing in the house. It had doors and 2 windows on each side, no glass or a physical door, but the entryways. And we couldn't figure out how it got in there, and we didn't hear it. This is a very narrow road. And we studied it, and, as much as we could, it's pitch black except for the light coming out of what we call the mobile home. And we went to bed. We got up the next day. No mobile home. Nothing in that lot.
No tracks.
No nothing. And there's no way to even get one in because the gate on the opposite side is only wide enough for a pickup truck. No way. You couldn't even turn a truck and a trailer into that.
We know that feeling.
So we reported it. MUFON did an investigation. And it was maybe about 6 months later, we moved to the house behind the house we were renting. So a flag lot. And we had 2 guys show up at our door. He was in the shower, and they were dressed in like khaki pants and
red shirts
like they worked at Best Buy. And asking us about paranormal cases in Germany. And I had no clue what they were talking about. I'm pretty sure they were men in black, only in desert, attire. They would have looked really out of place if they'd have come in suits.
Yeah, black suit.
But as soon as I said, I'm not familiar with anything over there, let me get my husband, they were like, oh, no. And then they exited really quickly. So it was very interesting. And since we've been putting on events of this nature, never had this before with paranormal, the ghost end of it, we had an intelligence guy show up at our first event. Military intelligence was there investigating us. And we've already had a couple of military guys on Facebook trying to sort of dissuade people from believing.
And Facebook user, Southern Arizona is where they live.
Yeah, close to the border of Mexico. So,
the question I was going to ask went right out of my head.
I mean, I had one intelligence guy this year asked me why we were putting on a UFO event so close to Fort Huachuca, which is the second largest intelligence base in the
why not?
U.S. And I'm like,
yeah, why not?
Why do I care? But
Well, we could put one on here and have the Pensacola Naval Air Station, the Spencer
Tell me you
Field,
don't live that far
yeah.
from there.
Yeah, say, hey, I live in the
So
area.
you guys know where I live.
well, right, yeah.
No,
Oh
I-
yeah, they know
Yeah.
where we live.
Yep.
Yeah,
They know everything about us because the guy who showed up at our first event, UFO event, he already knew my name first and last.
we saw him at the hotel.
Yep.
He was there using their hotel.
Yeah.
Allegedly, he lived in town.
And he was there to use their Wi-Fi, but he's military intelligence, so he's at a hotel using Wi-Fi. Come on.
But then we took everybody out to dinner, and he knew where we were having dinner, and we were in the back room of this restaurant, and he just came right in and
Sat down.
made himself at home and knew exactly
Who I was, everything else. He took a selfie with her camera.
Oh yeah.
He held it up, took a picture of himself with everybody, and just handed the camera back. And she's like, well, how come he didn't take a picture? I said, because he's probably already got it. He already knows your phone. He probably already has the picture.
Mm-hmm.
That was just his way of saying, I'm keeping an eye on you.
But I still have his picture too.
Yep, we still have the picture.
Julian.
Yep.
I know who you are. I know his name too.
Yep, we know who you are.
So when is your event in 2024?
It's Mother's Day weekend, May 10th through 12th.
Yep.
It is in Sierra Vista. The Friday night meet and greet is at the Garden Place Suites Hotel. It's probably the nicest hotel in town. It is directly across from Fort Huachuca military base. And then, so there will be an experiencer group at the hotel in the conference room there. It's a smaller conference room, both mornings. And then all the speakers will be at the Huachuca City Community Center about 6 miles down the road. So,
Have you guys ever witnessed anybody calling down an alien ship? Having it come down so that they can see it.
CE5.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Nikki.
Yeah. We actually put on a CE5 Skywatch event not too long ago.
in August.
We did not, unfortunately, the weather was not uncooperative. It was very cloudy. And so the Skywatch portion was.
It was a great event.
It was a great event.
time.
And it came off great. Everybody had a good time. But
one person did get a picture.
Yeah, of something really weird up in the sky.
Yeah.
So but we did it was kind of a CE5 kind of event. We didn't do the whole woo-woo like, Stephen Greer did with, bring all your, crystals and your rocks and meditate and all that stuff. We didn't do all that.
But we also don't charge $1,500 for a night
don't do
either.
that either. But people who do that, I think it's great. I don't know, how successful it is. They claim it is. It's fairly successful, which I think is fantastic. It may be, maybe that's the way to go about, initiating some kind of communication. I don't know.
Andrea Perrin does that.
Yeah.
Who?
Andrea Perrin.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I find
What she says.
Right.
So I have Facebook friends that attend CE5 events quite regularly, I think in Florida, actually.
Big money makers.
Oh, yeah, they
And-
are.
1,500. Wow.
Everything I see though that
Yep.
she posts is really anomalous. Okay, it could be, maybe not. When all we as human beings have to do is talk to them here. You don't have to go to an event and sit there and meditate, and
Right.
all it is asking them to come visit you telepathically, if you're open to it. Now, I know people who don't want to see them. They're afraid of them. They don't want to see it. Great. They look so different, and that scares people. Me, take me with you, because I'm done with this planet. But I think really all we need to do is ask them to come visit you, and then give it time, just like you would a spirit.
Yep.
And how much is your event in May?
That event is $150 for all 3 days. So we have 7 speakers and a tarot card reader who will be doing evening tarot card reads for people if they like. So
Yeah. So we got Travis Walton coming back. We've got
David Childress
David
from Ancient
Childress.
Aliens.
I
coming.
saw him on your
Yep.
list.
We've
Yeah.
got Gwen Farrell, the experiencer therapist.
We have the Navajo Rangers, or
Yep.
the Paranormal Rangers, as they're called. We have Jim Goodall, who is aviation expert, military aviation, as well as Area 51.
Expert, and he's really good friends with Bob Lazar. So
The
that's always
original
fun talking to
whistleblower.
him.
Yeah.
And then we also have
We have Jennifer.
Stein, who is a filmmaker, world traveler. She did the documentary on Travis Walton, the Travis Walton story.
And we have Stacy Wright from
Stacy
the
Wright.
director of MUFON in Arizona.
So that's the lineup anyway.
Hmm.
It's a good lineup. It's
Yeah.
a great lineup.
Well, I know you
Yeah.
guys saved a haunting in the desert years ago. In fact, that was
Yeah.
right around the time I met you.
Yeah, we
Yep.
did that for 8 years in Tombstone.
You
So-
guys did a good job at that. So,
This is much easier for us because we have a venue, we have speakers, we're not trekking out in the desert and getting everybody. It's just much easier.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do all the work with
Right.
talking. We don't
Yeah.
have to do the
just
speaking.
like-
We don't
Right.
have to do the investigations. We don't. They come in, they do it all. We
Yeah.
just basically MC it, and it's great. I love doing these.
do you recommend any CE5 speakers?
I'll be honest with you. I don't really know of any CE5 speakers, to be honest.
Okay.
Like I say, we kind of just winged it when we did it, and it came off really well.
It did. It
Um,
worked well.
And I think that's because, I do a lot of shamanistic things because I was trained to do that, smudging and, the ancient Native American stuff. We're both psychic mediums, so it kind of helped there too.
And, when you host an event like that, you have to put it on the event page before they purchase their ticket. They can bring all these things, and this is the mindset that they need to be in.
Right.
So that they know what the expectations are. Nothing is guaranteed ever.
So, what do you guys consider your level of close encounter?
Well,
A 4,
well,
5. I mean, well,
4 maybe. I see there again. I was dropped on the bed. Did they take me? Probably, but I have no memory, so I cannot. My scientific mind and everything cannot say yes, I was abducted.
Yeah,
Because
definitively,
I don't know.
you don't know. Yeah.
Right. I honestly don't know. Now,
was.
the theory. I mean, I would assume, but assumption gets you in a lot of trouble. But
he's a 4. They're not going to just drop him on the bed, for the hell of it.
Could it be that he woke up as they were trying to take him and he fell back on the bed?
well,
That's
and
That could be it.
could
too.
be too. I don't know how I got the scratches, but but
Probably
yeah,
rolled over.
I guess we'll find out when
Yeah.
Gwen does a regression therapy on me and see what
Are
happens.
you
there.
going
Or-
to?
Or they were putting you on the bed and misjudged the distance.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, yeah, that could be too. Or, you know,
And that could be how you got poked because
yep,
maybe they
grabbed-
misjudged.
Yeah,
the
they
judge,
grabbed.
right.
But you know, maybe they heard me talking to her saying, you know, you know me, I'm a see it to believe it kind of guy. Well,
Yeah.
they made me see it.
Is it possible that? No, that's not what I want to ask. Are you going to record your session? Your
Oh,
regression?
yeah, absolutely. She's
Oh, yeah,
recording
no
and we're recording.
We are going to audio record. She doesn't allow video, but we are going to audio. She's going to record it. We're going to have at least 2 digital recorders in the room at the time. I'm going to have
Because I
her
know a
in the
lot
room.
of them don't allow you to tape it at all. Some of the
Right, but she actually
requested
it. We do.
Yeah, that's good.
Now I'm going to have her in the room with me, and I'm going to have my my good friend that lives here, who is basically, I mean, he's open to it, but he has nothing to do with the paranormal ETs. He's a producer, director. He does plays and stuff like that. He's in a completely different line, but he and I are very close friends. So I want him in the room to be more an objective observer.
Right.
It's always good to have somebody who's not going to be swayed one way or the other,
Exactly.
unless
Right.
it's factual.
Yeah. So I want, you know, both, you know, mindsets there when I do the regression.
Well, good luck. I hope
Thank
you
you.
find the answer that I hope you find the answer. I don't know if it's going to be the one you're looking for.
At least he'll have
True.
answers, though, hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah.
So-
And then we can come back on your show and I can tell you all about it.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about it. To be honest, I cannot wait.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime.
Appreciate
Yeah, anytime you guys want to come on, just reach out and I'll send you a link.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Alrighty.
Thank
As
you
long
so
as we're
much.
having a show. Last
Yeah.
night, I canceled last night's show and Carl ended up canceling his show. We both got sick around the same time at Walmart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1,100
him and
miles
Missouri and-
apart.
Wow.
Wow.
And like I
You
said, it was
guys
at the
were
same
meant to
time.
have it then, that's for sure.
I don't get it, but
That
I
is
don't either.
very strange.
so, well, I mean, Walmart is one of those places. So
Yeah,
Oh boy.
it is.
Yeah, that's
One
for
of those
sure.
places,
we're not even going
but-
to talk about that. I think that's where a lot of aliens work.
They'd never be noticed.
Nope.
They'd
Yeah,
never
they
be
will.
noticed.
Nope.
There or McDonald's.
Yeah, that's it. Or
That is-
or Denny's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been to Denny's in
Been a while.
probably 20 years.
Yeah.
And that would have been on a trip
It's
to my
been a
mom's.
long time.
So, but, well, I'd like to thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Oh, if people want tickets, how do they find your tickets for your event?
Eventbrite is where our tickets are. So you can go on there and search for Sierra Vista UFO Conference. Or
you
just type Sierra Vista UFO Conference into your browser. It should come up.
Yeah. And if you type it in Facebook, it comes up too.
It'll come up. Our page is there and it'll take you to the ticket
yeah,
site.
we have a Facebook event page for this. So if you just type that in, it'll pop up.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how do people find you guys for your paranormal stuff?
Believe Paranormal, or they can look us up just on our personal pages.
Yep, either Rhonda Hull or Dwight Hull, and we're, you know,
And
always-
believe is going to be spelled with 2 E's at the beginning, BEE.
Correct.
So check that out.
LIEVE. Yep.
BEE.
Right.
LIEVE.
Yep.
Mhm. So you guys check that out. And if you have any questions for Rhonda and Dwight that we didn't ask, please let us know and we'll make sure that we get answers to your questions. I'm a good badger. I'm really good at-
Also, if anybody has any personal stories of UFO sightings, message me. We are writing a book about our experiences, and we are including a chapter on people's personal experiences. Whether you want your name used or not, just if you have a story, reach out to me.
Yep.
I can tell you, I do not.
Okay.
Do not.
Well,
Not that I
maybe
know
by
of.
the
I
time you publish.
mean, if I was abducted, I just don't know it yet. So I may have to find out. But at this point,
Yeah.
I don't think so. But if it changes, I'll let you know.
Absolutely.
Please do.
Carl's working on getting abducted. He goes out hunting by himself in the dark. So he's asking.
Yeah,
for
that's
it.
right. I do.
That's a good place to get
Especially at 5
abducted.
o'clock in the morning, especially this Saturday at 5 o'clock in the morning, sitting in a tree stand. So yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna
they can
say.
abduct me anytime up there. But I don't think you'll abduct somebody with a rifle in their arms. So,
you don't know that.
Well,
You don't know that because if they have
You
any
don't
kind
know
of
that,
mind
but-
control,
they can cloak and take it out of your hand. You're just one guy, right? You're not a whole.
whole
So
army.
well,
they could
That's
disarm
true.
you.
Or they just
And
beat
like I
me
said,
up
any
without it.
type of mind control,
Right.
hand
Yeah.
it
You
over
drop
to
it.
them.
Right.
hey, they grab that rifle out of my hands, and I'm 20 feet in the air. It's going to be a long fall when I can jump out of the tree stand and go, "What happened to the weapon?"
Well, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd like to thank you all for coming and
Thank you
listening
so
tonight.
much.
Thank you.
And like I said, if you have any questions or comments you want to make, please do. And we will make sure that if it's a question, we'll get it answered. If you have any suggestions on guests or topics you'd like to hear, please let me know. I have time on my hands for a little while. And join me next Monday night at 7 p.m. Central for Jessica Potter, the mermaid alien.
Mermaid alien.
Mermaid
I'm
medium.
sure she'd love to be called that.
Yep.
I don't actually. She'd probably just laugh at me, knowing all the crap I've been through lately. But the mermaid medium, she's going to be on, and we're going to have a good talk about all kinds of stuff that's going on. And
she's a great gal. I met her last year at Paragold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, she is a great gal.
fantastic lady.
Oh, she came to that?
You also met
Yeah.
her.
She was
Oh,
one
I
of
didn't
the
know
big.
that.
Carl, you met her in
vendors down there.
Joplin.
Yeah, you met her in Joplin too.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
So yeah, you did. So check us out next Monday and next Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Central. I will have another great guest for you guys to meet. I'm actively booking for both shows. So like I said, you want to be on? Let me know. I'll tell you when. I love telling people where to go. So join us then. So, and Carl, where can they find all the stuff that we're talking
They
about?
can find all of us on the Billerites Network, on all our shows that we do on that network. Plus, this show here is on Things Network on Facebook, the Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment's Facebook page, and Japan Paranormal, where we're live in Japan. And we're also live on Born TV on Rumble. So you can find us in all these locations, but on the Billerites Network, you'll find a list of all our shows on there. So I want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat room here tonight and on Rumble. We got quite a few people over on Rumble watching us right now and everything. So we will see you next week here at the same time on Tuesday nights at 5 p.m. on the Paranormal Nation Radio. Not so normal as it always is. Talk to you later. Have a good evening.